Have you ever hit rock bottom? Not a bad day or a bad week, but one of the worst moments of your life. Can you think back to something that resonates for your rock bottom? For me, one of my biggest rock bottom moments was in college. I had just walked on to the football team at Florida State, and I had a big goal at that time. I was on track to earn a scholarship by playing football for the team. And by on track, I mean I was doing everything I was supposed to be doing, going to the workouts, doing well in practice, and I had a track that I was on in order to get a scholarship. And that all kind of got crushed by, some management or leadership, you could say, within the team that didn't agree with me being on or the place that I thought I had with the team. And so sports, football, I really kind of wrapped my identity, just transferred to a new state, a new school, a new environment, and really built my identity around being this athlete. And when this happened, got cut out of the blue, nowhere, didn't expect it. And that happened, it really rocked me. I felt like my identity was just taken from me, and just being in such a new place and kind of building up that identity from the start and then having that crushed, I felt really lonely and without an identity. I didn't know really how to define myself, to myself personally, and then also to the world. What do I say? How do I introduce myself even? Stuff like that. What am I working on? What are my goals? And so just had that kind of shattering moment there and didn't know exactly how to deal with it. And I turned to food. I turned to an eating disorder, essentially, and just completely going crazy, overeating. I was already technically obese. I was an athlete, so I could move around, but technically, if you were to measure it by what a doctor measures obese as, I was definitely obese, pushed in the 240s, 250s, and then gained 50 pounds. And so I was pushing around the 300s, and at 6'2", it's definitely not healthy, and it wasn't muscle. It was a lot of fat, and I gained it in a short amount of time. So just kind of all these factors combining together, that food addiction and that kind of eating disorder of just completely divulging myself and almost creating an internal competition or testing myself of how much can I stuff myself. Oh, stuff a little more, a little more, a little more, a little more. And I would constantly do that. And, just really added up over time. And that kind of spiraling roller coaster of experiences back to back created my rock bottom in, just waking up in a food coma, kind of night after night, all by myself in a dorm room or apartment across the country from the people that were really closest to me. And so that was my rock bottom, and I was able to realize that, luckily, I think, and just kind of have this desire kind of in the back of my head for something to change, for something more, and I really was able to somehow, some way put it together and use that rock bottom as a place that I told myself that I would absolutely never go back to. And kind of in the back of my head, I always have that as something that I experienced and that I knew what that felt like, and that I knew it would never happen again, to that extent, or, just I would never be that size or anything like that. I used that as my fuel, and I ended up focusing on my health, my body, my fitness, and really making that my new biggest goal, my updated goal. And so using that kind of rock bottom experience, I went ahead and went full force into transforming my body, because that was the thing that, you know, held me back the most. I felt worse than I've ever felt physically in my entire life, and just was really unhealthy. Thought I may get like a heart attack. Was having like all kinds of you know, bad visions about what could happen to me. You know, collapsing. All these types of things were real scenarios in my head, and I was able to use that experience. I had a couple of moments of decision. I talk about it in the book of what really kind of changed me, and you know, was able to slowly but surely design a course, a program, in order to get myself out of that rock bottom, but somehow leverage and use that rock bottom. And I wonder, if I never went through that painful experience, maybe I would have drifted. Maybe I just would have been a little overweight, kind of managed it around that same size, but never really cut down all the way, and just kind of would have been okay in that lukewarm middle. I think partly I had to go to that rock bottom extreme in order to use it as like this burning fuel deep down within me that I couldn't let go of. It just kind of overran me to not have that happen again, and I was able to lose 100 pounds and keep it off and stay in great shape. You hear a lot of stories about people who yo-yo with, you know, huge transformations on their weight loss, down and then all the way up and stuff like that. Luckily that didn't happen to me. And so I say that to say, is your rock bottom moment also your greatest opportunity? Because it was for me. I know other people, it was the same for them, where that rock bottom moment also really shaped them and guided them to much bigger things than would have happened. We don't know what would have happened if they didn't have that moment, or if I didn't have that moment. But what we do know is that was a guiding, driving force for them to do other great things. And so what's that moment for you? Can you think of one where you hit a real rock bottom, and in that time period it was, you know, one of the worst moments of your life maybe, but also you were able to leverage that and use it to really conquer, achieve, and progress kind of as a catapult right after that moment. So if you have one of those moments, I would encourage you to maybe journal about it. That's helped me a lot, and really make sure that that rock bottom didn't happen and you do nothing with it. That would be a tragedy if you had this, you know, terrible thing that happened to you and you weren't able to leverage or use it in order to improve yourself down the line. So I encourage you to think about what your rock bottom moment is and how you can use that more moving forward to improve kind of the rest of your life. Hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll see you soon.